her way back from job interview in Port Harcourt. Tribunal reserves judgment in Rivers State governorship election matter. Farmers intensify premature harvesting in Rivers State as floods near. On the foreign scene, 18,000 to 20,000 people estimated to have died in Libyan flooding. I am Constance Mega with the news. We begin the news this Thursday afternoon, September 14th, 2023, with a report of an altercation between policemen and commercial drivers along the Choba axis of Port Harcourt in Rivers State. Our correspondent reports that the altercation started after a policeman allegedly broke the hand of one of the drivers over his refusal to part with 100 naira. Our correspondent reports that the situation caused traffic along the Choba axis of the East-West Road. Now, one of the commercial drivers spoke with our correspondent on this.
So bad. I'm so angry. I'm going home to see my dad, my late dad right now, and thing is affecting me so bad. For like 1 hour, 2 hours now, we have been stuck here.
Apologies for that mix-up there. A driver spoke on this.
That our motor is faulty. If anything that happens that the thing will block the road and the motor will be hard to start. So the police was insisting on, and they say move clear. So they tell them they no agree. So the union even come there, contact them, say they are the one that put this motor from Emoha because of tax fraud. Only for my boss to off the ignition. As he just stepped down, police started harassing him, beating, started using this thing. They are hitting gum on him. Since that was a caution, if you watch now, you see the caution. I just now when they go bring her, carry everything.
In another development, the family of a woman, Joy Njoku, abducted on her way back from a job interview at a hotel in GRA axis of Port Harcourt, is calling for her immediate release. About 14 days after the incident, her daughter, Chioma Njoku, tells our correspondent that the incident happened on the 1st of September around 9 p.m. Joy Njoku, who works as a chef, was driving home in a silver Toyota Venza when she went missing. Miss Njoku said she became aware of her mother's disappearance after a family friend revealed that she had been speaking with her mother on the phone that evening and had her express concerns about being followed by some men in police uniforms.
That same Monday, my mom's friend sent my elder sister a message saying when was the last time we heard from her, that she called my mom around past 9:10. My mommy was driving. So while they were talking, my mom made a complaint of the police people that she was seeing in front, that she does not understand what they were doing, but they were still talking. So when they finished, my mom didn't cut the call. Next thing she had was my mom screaming, was like, what did I do to you people? You people should leave me alone. I didn't do anything to you people. Something like that. She was like, Joy. She was calling my mom, but my mom did not hear. So she said that was the last time she heard from my mom. So she said she's there. I've been trying to reach her. She said, okay, let her get to us.
Well, Ms. Njoku said she suspects foul play as there are inconsistencies between the hotel's reported time of her mother's arrival for the interview and the actual time of her arrival. Well, she also made other claims on why she suspects foul play.
The hotel people, when they asked them for the camera footage, they were saying that the camera got bad, so they don't have a record of anything. Since that 1st of September till this time, we've not gotten any call. So we began to wonder, because now they're like, okay, the only person that we know that offended my mom is my brother's pastor, because this church my brother attends, all of us are like against him going to. And now it happens to be that my brother was the one that referred my mom to this hotel for a job, and the manager that he referred her to goes to this same church, and this hotel happens to be the same hotel that his pastor and the church members normally frequent.
Well, the Rivers State Police Command is yet to speak on this. Police have officially released the photo of the suspected leader of the gang that killed the divisional police officer in Aoda, River State, Gift David Okpara, popularly known as Tubaba. Recall that the suspect and his gang have been declared wanted and a 100 million naira bounty placed on them. His photo, attached to a wanted person's notice, was shared by the spokesperson of the River State Police Command, Grace Iringekoko, as directed by the Inspector General of Police, Usman Alkali Baba, and the state's governor, Siminalayi Fubara. In the notice, the suspect is being charged with conspiracy, cultism, and the killing of SP Bako Angbashim. The police are asking that those with information about his whereabouts and those of his gang members report to the State Criminal Investigation Department for the rewards promised. We're staying with security stories. Some women in Port Harcourt say curbing cultism requires intentional parenting and good governance. The women were reacting to Governor Siminalayi Fubara's comments on disciplinary measures against principals who support cultism. They told our correspondents that parents need to put more effort into setting good examples for their children, and they also urged the government at all levels to create employment opportunities for the youths.
I no join court. My husband no join court. So if I sit my pikin down, advise am to no go join court.
Those age children, after school, they should be going for all this wedding, tailoring, that will make them busy. They will not have time to go and look for all those life.
If pikin no get person when go monitor and then leave them, then they waka street by street, up and down. They no go work, they no go school. Then go join court.
The senior ones, the government should provide job. Parents too, they need to caution their children and to look after them. So it's between the parents and the government.
We need to call our children and give them some advice to stop following all those bad friends, to avoid them to join cultism, and we also pray for them.
The judgment in the matter brought by the River State APC governorship candidate Tony Cole against the election of PDP's Siminalayi Fubara as governor of River State will be delivered at a later date. Well, this is the position of the three-member tribunal panel led by Justice Cletus Emifonye after the lawyers of the APC governorship candidate, INEC, and the PDP and its candidate adopted their final written addresses. Well, as you may know, Tony Cole, who later became the sole petitioner after his party, the APC, withdrew its petition, based his petition on two grounds: disqualification of the governor of River State to contest the election, corrupt practices, and non-compliance. Well, one of his lawyers, Tuduru Ede, spoke to newsmen after the tribunal sitting yesterday.
Today, parties adopted their written addresses and the matter is now adjourned for judgment. We fought this case through and through. We called about 40 witnesses and then tendered exhibits running into the thousands. The respondents also did so.
He further spoke on the key points of their petition.
And the main plank of our case is that the second respondent was at the time of the election not qualified because he didn't resign from his post as Accountant General and Permanent Secretary in River State. Led evidence to that effect. We have addressed extensively on it today and we await the judgment of the tribunal. The work has been done, we leave the rest to the tribunal.
Where the petitioner, Tony Cole, also spoke to newsmen.
We are very satisfied with what has been presented today as our final address, and I'm trusting the tribunal and trusting our Lord God Almighty that justice will be done. We know exactly what happened on election day, but that is very different from what we are doing in court. What we are here to do in court is to ensure that we secure the mandate that was taken off us in March.
He also said he would see to the end of the matter.
And I just want to assure everybody in River State that we do everything within our power to see that justice is done. We've presented a case, we're just waiting for the result. The judgment is just a few weeks away, so let's be patient, stand firm, we're fighting this all the way to the end.
Well, after adopting his final written address, the lawyer for INEC, Kanu Agabi, cited the Supreme Court's ruling in Aliyu versus INEC and argued that party members must abide by party decisions. The former governor of River State, Nyesom Wike, who is the current minister of the Federal Capital Territory, was at the tribunal sitting yesterday. Away from that, farmers in Abu Odua local government area of River State are harvesting cassava immaturely to prevent it from being washed away by floods. The youth president in the area, Itode God Power, speaks to correspondent Onyeka Chinwosu on this.
All the lowlands in Abua now and the Oduas, water have taken over. And the only source of survival as farmers, water have taken over every plants, mostly the cassava and plantain. Water have taken over. Now, the farmers mostly, now they are so busy to uproot immature cassava. If you come to Abua, you will see immature cassava. These places that this flooding have started taking over. If you fail to harvest it now, you will not see anything.
Well, Mr. Godpower said parts of the communities are already flooded due to the heavy downpour this week.
This rain has been falling so serious, and this rain now has been adding to the one of the river. It started overflowing, coming to the low side of the lands. If you go to the lowlands, water have taken over. Even in Abua main towns, some communities, if you go, you will see water within their houses. There is water now. Flooding of last year started, though. There is excess water. The flooding of this year will be more than the one of last year. If government are sleeping, they should not sleep, because the one of this year will be more than the one of last year. And to easily and quickly prepared where these victims will stay.
Well, some of the communities affected are Owerri, Aminiboko, Egunuga, Eme Asu, Obaragi, Emabo, and Okobo, among others. Well, it's not clear what measures have been set up in the communities to cushion the impact of the floods, as the chairman of Abu-Odua local government area, Daniel, is yet to respond to our requests for his opinions on the council's actions. Well, as you may know, Abu-Odua is one of the local government areas in the Orashi region of Rivers State, most affected by the 2022 flooding. Now, it's been listed as one of the local government areas to experience flooding this year. Well, the situation is no different for fish farmers, as some of them resort to early harvesting of their fish due to flash floods. The national president of the Catfish and Allied Fish Farmers Association of Nigeria, Mustafa Momo, says those harvesting their fish so early are facing a critical shortage of proper storage facilities. And he says the situation has led to an increase in the cost of fish.
Access to funds, access to finance is our challenge. Now we're all aware a lot of farms are closing down, even in the states. Let me not start for the flood last year. A lot of farms are crying now. The flood, a lot of farmers are on debt. They can't return back to farm. We can have it and consider the key for our people. We can produce massive quantum of fish, healthy fish for our people to live well, to live long.
Well, Dr. Momo also called on the federal government to take action to ensure that only genuine farmers can access agricultural loans to reduce farmers' dependence on imported fish. Still to come, House of Representatives denies receiving 100 million naira palliatives from federal government. Stay tuned. Gas as an alternative to petrol to power their generators are in danger of a gas explosion. This warning comes after the Nigerian police earlier warned users of liquefied petroleum gas (LPG) and compressed natural gas (CNG) about their volatile nature. We're speaking to correspondent Soebi Oruwari, a former process coordinator at the Port Harcourt refinery. Tony Nwalia advised users of LPG as alternative fuel to be aware of the danger involved.
Like those who are using LPG for generator, cooking gas for generator, the advice that they should send it very far from the generator because it's close and it's a generator that radiates heat and the cylinder start getting hot. Once the heat on the cylinder is above the temperature that is designed to hold, it will explode. And if there's any leakage on the pipe we are using for cooking now is designed purely for cooking. By the time you introduce it to a generator and there's a leakage, it will cause combustion, inflate anywhere. So you don't put your cylinder under heat.
Well, Mr. Nwalia also says the increased demand for liquefied natural gas is partly to blame for the scarcity of the product.
The demand for gas now is high because many people are using it for their generators at home. The marketers and those who are in the business are trying to capitalize on the rush for it and increase price. That's one thing. Apart from LNG producing gas, the refineries are not producing gas, so they are importing gas as it is today. The LPG is being imported massively. And if they are importing it and they are going to use dollar to import it, definitely the price will be based on the current value of naira to dollar.
Moving on now, the House of Representatives has denied claims by the leadership of the Nigeria Labour Congress that the federal government gave 100 million naira to members of the National Assembly as palliatives. Recall that the National Assistant Secretary of the NLC, Christopher Onyeka, had made the allegation in a statement issued in Abuja. But reacting to the allegation, House Committee Chairman on Media and Public Affairs, Akin Rotimi, described the allegation as baseless and devoid of factual accuracy. And in business, Nigeria's power supply dropped by 93.5% to 273 megawatts in the early hours of today from over 4,000 megawatts recorded on Monday this week following a complete system collapse due to equipment failure or grid disturbance in the sector. In entertainment, 25-year-old Nigerian filmmaker Idoronye Uko has graduated with the highest distinction from the New York Film Academy, Los Angeles. Miss Uko scored a cumulative grade point average of 4.00 to achieve the feat. In sports, Super Falcons defender Ashley Plumter has signed for Saudi's Al Ittihad.
And now we'll bring you news from around the world.
An estimated 18,000 to 20,000 people may have died in the flooding that ravaged parts of Libya. The mayor of the eastern Libyan port city of Derna, Abdul Menam Al-Gaithi, told newsmen that his estimate was based on the number of districts completely destroyed when the two dams burst. Well, that's the news, but before we go, let's take a look at the highlights. On the news this afternoon, you heard that the police and some commercial drivers have clashed in Choba axis of Port Harcourt over an alleged 100 naira extortion. Family of woman abducted on her way back from a job interview in Port Harcourt are calling for her release. The tribunal has reserved judgment in the Rivers State governorship election matter. Farmers have intensified premature harvesting in Rivers State following looming floods. On the foreign scene, 18,000 to 20,000 people are estimated to have died in the Libyan floods. The news was edited by Onyeka Chinwosu. Cloudy weather in Port Harcourt this afternoon. To reach the news team, send an SMS or WhatsApp to 0808 721 7215. Peace is the path to the prosperity of a nation. Let peace reign. I'm Constance Mega. Thank you so much for listening. Do stay tuned. Coming up next is The Sunny Side.